Hindi cinema has not done a good job of being nationalistic without hating on another country or Muslims in general. That is just something that they do in order to show their patriotism. Like, that is just my personal opinion. Until we are able to do like a more balanced representation in Hindi films, I just will not pay money or stream these types of films. That's just my standpoint.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Desi Talkies Podcast, a show where we talk about Bollywood, Lollywood, South Asian pop culture, and everything in between. I'm Ananya
I'm Aneesa Khan, and today is our recap episode. So Ananya and I are going to be talking about everything that we've watched, what we liked, we didn't like in terms of film, TV, and what we're looking forward to. And because we've come back after a little bit of a gap, we're going to be catching up with some films and TV that we missed out during that break.
Correct. February has felt like the longest month ever, and it's literally the shortest month in this calendar year. I don't even understand.
Yes, it is.
This year is a leap year, so we get one extra day in case it hasn't been long already. I have been really bad at watching things, to be very honest. I think that I need to get better at just going to the movie theater and watching things that are releasing.
Why have you been getting bad at that?
Because no one wants to go to the movie theater in Mumbai. I have like 2 friends that actually want to go, and honestly, I don't think it's been a good month for Bollywood. That's my opinion. I mean, think about it. We started the month with, what's the one big film that released other than Teri Baaton Mein Asal Jajiya? Fighter. Fighter is the other film. I watched both of them in theater. But those are the only 2 films that really released this month that are, I guess, notable films. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and get into what you've seen.
So I'll start with Fighter.
फाइटर वो नहीं है जो अपना टारगेट अचीव करता है, वो है जो उन्हें ठोक देता है.
I think actually it came out end of Jan, but I watched it in February, so I'm going to count it as February. I didn't like it. I felt like I downloaded the wrong Top Gun, and they literally scene by scene took so many moments from Top Gun. It was so bad. It was so bad. The only saving grace of the film was Deepika and Hrithik, and Hrithik is literally the same Hrithik that we saw in War, with like his short hair and his like walking with the flag in the back, just you know. One thing I did think the film did well was the CGI of all the planes and the aerial fights. I did like that. Other than that, I understand what they're trying to do with films like this, because they're not blatantly being like, you know, hateful or anything, but they are talking about Muslims in India as well, which I do appreciate, because you do have Muslims in India that aren't getting rights necessarily that maybe they should have, or they should. And I'm not too well versed on politics in India or in Pakistan, but I do think that they showed, you know, that we have Muslims in the Air Force, and we do have to give them the respect that they deserve as well. And so I guess cool. I didn't like the film personally. I did like that, and this was something that they did in Suryavanshi as well, with like, you know, these are also the Muslims of India. When we talk about Muslims of India, we got to talk about them like this as well. The ones that are in the police force, or the ones that are in the army, or the ones that are also in the Air Force, etc., etc. So cool, I guess. I think Deepika and Hrithik look great, and that's all I have for the film.
Yeah.
Other than that, it was Top Gun.
I haven't seen it because I refuse to watch war-oriented and nationalistic films in Hindi cinema, because I have yet to see. There are probably like less than a handful of films that I've seen that aren't Islamophobic. I think Hindi cinema has not done a good job of being nationalistic without hating on another country or Muslims in general. That is just something that they do in order to show their patriotism. Like, that is just my personal opinion.
तो जैसे टेररिस्ट की वजह से अगर हम बदतमीजी पे उतर आए तो तुम्हारा हर मोहल्ला आईओपी बन जाएगा। इंडिया ऑक्युपाइड पाकिस्तान।
So I don't watch those films because I'm also a pacifist, and I've heard bad things about Muslim representation in Fighter and also in Suryavanshi. So I have not seen them until we are able to do like a more balanced representation in Hindi like films. I just will not pay money or stream these types of films. That's just my standpoint.
I think personally, I understand that conflict, and I understand that that conflict has many stories to tell from it. I don't necessarily feel like it's always represented perfectly. However, I do think that there is a conflict, right? And I think that avoiding that topic altogether is also not something that Hindi film can do, because it is a topic that's ongoing, on running.
Yeah, and I do understand that to a certain extent, but it's been, if I'm being quite honest, it's been done so many times, and I've seen a lot of nationalistic Pakistani films, and in none of our films have we hated on Indians or hated on Hindus. That's like not something that we still manage to like make our content.
The thing about the Hindu Muslim thing is that it's something that we as a country face more than Pakistan, only because we have Hindus and we have Muslims that are not Pakistani, that are Indian. We have Indian Muslims and we have Indian Hindus. And I think that's why that topic comes up in India more than in Pakistan. And it has nothing to actually do with Pakistan as a country. It has more to do with the fact that, for example, a film like Rang De Basanti had Aslam, who is also a Muslim Indian, right? So we do deal with that issue on the streets, on the regular.
But again, how old is that movie?
Yeah. No, I'm giving an example as to why that as a topic is a topic in Hindi cinema. It's because we deal with that every day. We deal with the Muslims of India, the Hindus of India, the Christians of India. It is a country that has all of these histories and all of these cultures and all of these religions. So I think that is more so why, and I'm keeping the country aspect out of it. I'm keeping just the fact that why is, Muslims in India a topic? And it's because of that. It's because we do have a large population. So I think that's why when we talk about films, particularly when it comes to films like these, it is a topic that comes up because it is an issue that, not saying one or the other is an issue. I'm saying in general, it's an issue in the country. So, and that's a fault of the country, right? It's a fault of the country that we need to address this issue. However, I am not educated enough to speak on the issue itself. I think when it comes to Fighter, there was representation. I don't know if I would call it bad representation because it was a Muslim Indian in the Air Force who fought for his country, and it was there, and that topic comes. These are also the Muslims of India. So I think that it was there. I don't know how I would feel if I was on the other side of this. And as an empath, I can only empathize with what you're saying and try to understand why this is a topic here as well. And so that's why I think that films like these have that topic in mind. It's because we have a history that has nothing to do with Pakistan as a country. It has more just so to do with the cultures that already are inbred in this country.
I understand that to a certain extent. But my closing statement is, even though it is a topic that should be discussed and represented, like Indian Muslims and Pakistanis on screen in Hindi cinema should be treated with the same respect as Hindu Indians on screen if you're trying to show accuracy.
Correct.
That is my closing argument.
No, correct. That's very true. That's very true. Moving on from the heavy, we literally went heavy topic first, right? Moving on to we already spoke about Teri Batum and Jajia, but those were the only 2 big films that came out. Besides that, what else have you been watching?
It's time to talk
Anything.
about Animal.
टाइम बताएगा मेरे पापा के लिए मेरा प्यार फेल है पास है या दुनिया में सबसे फर्स्ट है
मैंने बोला था ना ज्योति क्रिमिनल है हमारा बेटा.
It came out on Netflix this month.
So I saw it in theaters when it came out. The day of its release, I saw it in theaters. Before all the memes, before everything, whatever, I saw it with my dad. I did not sleep in the theater. I did not lose interest. I was watching the entire time. The first half of the film, amazing, brilliant, eye-catching, very offensive at times, but just a good, like gory fight, like redemption character film, like amazing performances first half. Second half, god awful. Holy shit. I have never seen a film that had all the components of being a great film, but just was so bad. Some of the dialogue, the like romantic storylines, like felt like a waste of time. One of Ranbir Kapoor's best performances yet, and Anil Kapoor was also phenomenal. Bobby Deol could have saved this entire film if he was in it from like 0.1 seconds into the beginning. So that's the filmmaker's fault. And yeah, sexism wasn't cool then, and it isn't cool now. And you know, I have so many things to say about Sandeep Reddy Vanga, but honestly, like the cinematography in this was impeccable. Some of the best action scenes I've ever seen in Hindi cinema, and there was a lot of good about this film. But as a whole, it was. I could talk about it forever. Did I watch it again when it came on streaming? Yes, I did. But I watched the first half and I enjoyed it so much. I was like, yeah. And then the second half came around and then I started doing work with it in the background. So yeah.
I watched it when it came on streaming. So I did watch it in February as well. I didn't hate the film. However, I do think that, Sandeep Reddy Vanga should just be quiet now that the film is out. Stop explaining yourself. Stop. You got the money. You made the money. The film it was a hit. The actors got the accolades that they deserved. And now you can just sit in silence. The fact that he's explaining himself is kind of unnecessary.
He responds to every comment. Like, it's wild.
Exactly. I would respect him a lot more if he would just sit. You're rolling in money. Like, just enjoy it. Like, why do you need to answer to everybody? Why? Like, just chill. Ranbir Kapoor's best performance yet for sure. So good. That action sequence, when him and Alungi doing that action sequence, so incredibly good, with the song Arjun Valley in the back.
So good.
The music, incredible. Yes, very, very problematic film overall, but in terms of cinema, done well.
You thought both halves?
So this
like
is
the
where
entire film?
I think in the beginning there was a moment where I dipped in terms of like focus as well, and then I think in the second half there was a moment where I dipped, and I just think that was just because of how long the film was. I thought that the part where Bobby Deol comes into frame is so good. I have a story to tell. The story that I have to tell, Aneesa already knows, but I met Bobby Deol the day after the film released. Fun fact. He was coming back from one of the round tables, and I ran into him on my way to the bathroom. He was like walking into the same event I was at, and that man is huge. Like, he is a massive man. Okay, like, his presence on screen makes a lot of sense because he is so big, bro. Like, I'm not saying he's fat. That's not what I'm calling. I'm just saying he's like double my size. You know what I mean? And I like open the door and I like headbutt into his like chest basically, because he was trying to open the door to walk into the party and I was going to the bathroom, and I didn't know if I should like hold my pee in that moment or run to the bathroom or what I should say. I had not watched Animal yet, and of course the first thing that comes out is, "You were so good at Animal." And then he's just like, "Thank you," and he's really sweet. He's really sweet. Learned a lot because we did have a conversation. But I was like, okay, can I get a photo, please? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I usually don't ask for photos. He's like, his face was like, I don't care. I really don't care if you ask for photos or not. Why are you telling me your life story right now? You know what I mean? So then we took a photo together, and I look like his granddaughter, not even his daughter, his granddaughter. I look like a child next to him. And then I run to the bathroom and I text my family group chat, and I'm like, guys, look. And I send a photo of me and Bobby sir. And then immediately as I send that photo, I get a message on the family group chat saying, "Are you at the wax museum?" And I'm like, see, this is why we can't have nice things. This is the reason why. So anyway, then I came back and I had a conversation with him, and he did say that, you know, this is his second life and this film has given him a second life. I'm just glad I didn't talk about dialogue delivery with him, because that would have been a crazy topic to bring up before watching the film. So yeah. Insert photo of Ananya and Bobby right here, somewhere here. Anyway, it happened. Yeah, so good film. I think Tripti Dimri has done better work, so the fact that she's acknowledged for this,
I don't understand how she's getting big from this. She has done like Gala, bro. Like, she has done like some of the best work of her career, like at the beginning of her career. And she was just like a prop in this. She deserves so much more. And I thought it was really a waste of her talent.
Yeah. I think Kala, Bulbul, and what was the other film that she did? Laila Majnu. Yeah. Laila Majnu. Great films. She did a really good job. And she is now coming in a film with Vicky Kaushal. So excited to see what they have in store. And she is really beautiful. I do think that she has the makings of a
star,
of a quintessential star. Yeah. I don't like Rashmika Mandana as an actress.
तेरे पापा के लिए प्यार जोक नहीं, रोग है. I really wish he had died that day.
I don't know if it's just me. Maybe like it's just her in Hindi.
I think it's her in Hindi, and also she was given like such terrible dialogues, if I'm being honest. Like that whole scene where she's like interrogating him about how he slept with her, like Zoya, and she was like, "Oh, was she better than me?" was just like so painful to watch.
Yeah. I've watched a couple other films in Hindi with her in them, and I just haven't been able to get my, wrap my head around her acting yet in Bollywood. Because we do have actors that have come from South that have done a really good job, like Rana Daggubati, for example. So the expectation is pretty high. That's that. Other than that, film was pretty solid. Good action, good popcorn-eating blockbuster film.
Wow, I don't even know how people are going to react to our review, but I'm excited. But yeah, speaking of Bobby Deol, I have decided to revisit some classics right after I watched Animal. I had a 6-hour train to Boston, and I downloaded on Prime Video Aur Pyar Ho Gaya, which is Bobby Deol and Aishwarya Rai. And I watched it for the first time. Not a very good film, but both have impeccable screen presence, and it was a jolly good time.
I've only ever watched one Bobby Deol film before this, and the film that I've watched is Jhoom Barabar Jhoom.
Oh my god, terrible film. Terrible.
I know, but I used to dance to the song.
Fire music.
And yeah, so that's the only Bobby Deol film that I've watched. And I always thought him and Preeti Zinta were together.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know if that was ever a thing.
I don't know. I always thought that too.
I don't think they were actually together. I think it was just like that movie and then maybe another couple movies, and then they like, when I started thinking that is when they came together in that song
Divangi,
from Om Shanti Om.
And they also came together on Coffee with Karan, I think, too.
Yeah, so I was always like, But apparently Preeti was always into her white men, so who knows? And so there's that. That's Bobby Deol for you. Little Bobby stories and little Bobby, There is a film that I rewatched in theater recently that was re-released for Valentine's Day. Ye Jawani Hai Deewani in theater again.
तुम क्या चाहती हो लाइफ से बने?
रफ्तार, पागलपन. मैं उड़ना चाहता हूँ नैना, दौड़ना चाहता हूँ, गिरना भी चाहता हूँ, बस रुकना नहीं चाहता.
Just like I watched it the first time, so much fun. So much fun. And I have never enjoyed music the way I did. I've never wanted to like get up and start dancing the way I like wanted to in that moment. I have never wanted to tell the people next to me to shut up more than I wanted to during that film because the lady next to me kept talking and I'm like, excuse me, you are disrespecting a film that I love and I hold so close to my heart. And everyone else around us was literally just like my friend and I who went to watch this, reciting dialogue as it was coming. And that's how you know the film is a classic. And it was so fun. And actually, this time I realized the background score on the film is so good. You don't actually get to hear some of the stuff that's going on in the back of the like as the background score on like Netflix if you watch it on your laptop or something. It's very, very good to watch a film again in theater because you get to feel everything again. And how. Ranbir and Deepika, oh my god. I cry.
Me every time.
I cry every single time. That end of that film is so incredibly good. So yeah, I watched Ye Jawani Diwani again in theater, and it was so fun. I would do it again and again, to be very honest. So now, getting into an English show that I watched that had a South Asian actress, Asian British actress. One Day.
It's one of the great cosmic mysteries. How it is that someone can go from being a total stranger to being the most important person in your life?
Which released on Netflix. It is a British show. It is a Netflix show, and it has a British South Asian actress as the lead role.
Her name is Ambika Maud, and she is a revelation. I'm obsessed with her.
Yes. So good. So incredibly good.
I thought it was great. I thought it was a slow burn. It made you feel emotions, and I loved her so much that I didn't care for the male lead as much, which is really funny.
Okay, no, he's hot. He's hot.
Like, I didn't, like, I was so captured by her and her performance that I was just like, oh, this guy's such a mess. She can do so much better. Like, that was like my entire mindset.
Okay, I thought he was really cute. I also like that they didn't need to be like, she's a brown girl.
They did that once in the first episode. Yeah,
and that was
and
it.
Then, like, it was normal.
It was because it was about them. It was not about her. I'm sure there was like, if you think about it, yeah, I'm sure there's family issues. I'm sure that these two people love each other, no matter their culture, no matter their race, no matter the color of their skin, and that's what the show's about.
Okay. Other than One Day, there's so many movies I have to talk about. खो गए हम कहाँ, amazing.
हम सब सोशल मीडिया पे सिर्फ और सिर्फ शो ऑफ करते हैं. तुम किसी का भी सोशल मीडिया प्रोफाइल उठा के देखो, इट्स जस्ट अ हाईलाइट रील ऑफ द बेस्ट मोमेंट्स ऑफ देयर लाइफ. मुझे नहीं जानना यार कि तुम क्या कर रहे हो, क्या सोच रहे हो, क्या खा रहे हो. आई बेटर थिंग्स टू डू ऑलराइट. लाइक फाइंडिंग आउट कि मलाइका अरोरा ने आज जिम में क्या पहना.
Loved it so much. Soundtrack, performances, great modern take on friendship dynamics. I love that it wasn't a love triangle. I love that it was very individualistic in its stories. And it was Ananya Pandey's best performance. And Adarsh Gaurav, amazing as usual. And Siddarth was good, but his character was the weakest.
Yeah, I felt like one thing that I do think that they could have done is taken a moment to sit with Siddarth's character. You know, I don't think I needed more development on his character. I think that was there. There was just certain moments where, you know, the night after that he's hooked up with not Sky. Her name's not Sky in this film. That's her name in Gully Boy. What's wrong with me? It's like so interchangeable because her character is so like similar to the Gully Boy character in my opinion. But
she's in every Zoya Akhtar film, bro.
Yeah. Zoya loves her, except for the Archies. But I felt like the night after they hooked up, Kalki Kekla and Siddarth Chaturvedi's characters, there was a moment where you see a tear like just come from his eye, and you don't know why he's crying necessarily, but I felt like if we sat there a little longer, we would feel something for the character, so that
Yeah.
later on when the revelation happens, it's like, oh, that's why that character was crying. I just needed a little bit more of him alone on screen.
Yeah, I think that was a really good example. I love the music.
sorry.
I listen to it like every other day.
Yeah, a lot of really cool artists on the track. You've got Karan Kanchan, you've got Oaf, you've got Yashraj, Jashmeet Kaur, very cool new artists and very cool independent artists.
There's always the next coming months. But yeah, thank you for tuning in to our episode. Catch us next Thursday for another episode. And we're so excited to talk more with you guys in this new format. Follow at Desi Talkies Podcast on YouTube and on Instagram. Subscribe to our channel, like our videos. You can watch our video content episode on YouTube and Spotify, and all your other audio listening platforms are where you can hear us. So we'll see you another week for another episode